Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're setting the stage for a real masterclass in modern culinary success. Whether you're literally sketching out your first menu on a napkin right now, or you're looking to scale an established eatery into a household name, you're in exactly the right place. So let's just dive straight into this comprehensive playbook and uncover what it actually takes to build a restaurant that doesn't just survive, but absolutely thrives.
Because look, the stakes here are incredibly high, 30%. That's the stark reality of the industry we're playing in. 30% of new restaurants end up closing their doors within their very first year. It's a tough, totally unforgiving landscape. But hey, don't let that number discourage you. Instead, let's use it as the ultimate motivation to build a bulletproof strategy. We are definitely not here to be part of that 30%.
To succeed, we're taking a structured journey today. We'll be hitting the food truck incubator, scaling your concept, the influencer shift, finding creators, the consistency system, and finally, customer satisfaction.
Starting off with Section 1, the food truck incubator.
Let's start right at the very beginning, Phase 1 of the life cycle. Now, the traditional brick-and-mortar launch, it comes with massive financial risks. We're talking huge build-out costs, locking into fixed long-term leases, and staring down a pretty terrifying break-even horizon. But a mobile incubator model, that's a whole different ballgame. Food trucks and food hall stalls offer this incredibly agile, low-rent testing ground. Take Roy Choi's Kogi Korean Barbecue over in LA, for example. By starting out in a food truck, they totally challenged traditional dining norms, tested out their Korean-Mexican fusion on a budget, and built this massive cult-like following without the crippling overhead. It's literally the ultimate culinary laboratory.
Moving right along to Section 2, scaling your culinary concept.
Okay, so let's say your food truck or stall is just a massive hit. The lines are wrapping around the block. But how do you actually know when your incubator concept is ready to graduate into a full-fledged chain? Well, scaling isn't just about renting a bigger space. It's about hitting some crucial milestones. First, you've got to gather direct customer feedback. You need to know that demand is permanent, not just some passing trend. Second, and I really want to speak directly to you here, you have to prepare a rock-solid business plan. This is absolutely non-negotiable if you're going to secure investors in Step 3. Investors need to see that you've thought through the financials, the projections, and the operational logistics, not just the flavors, right? And finally, Step 4, implement a robust POS system. You just can't manage a multi-location empire on paper tickets. You need intuitive tech that handles your inventory, online orders, and table service seamlessly from day one.
Which brings us to Section 3, the influencer marketing shift.
Once those doors are open, obviously you need to fill the seats. But here's the thing. Traditional advertising just doesn't cut through the noise anymore. Why? Because 50% of modern diners now rely on authentic creator content as their main decision-making tool when choosing where to eat. Just think about that for a second. Half of your potential customers are literally waiting to see your food unboxed, tasted, and reviewed by a creator they already trust before they ever even decide to book a table with you.
Let's look at Section 4, finding the right creators. Hearing that stat, you might be sitting there thinking, well, I don't have the marketing budget for huge celebrities. But the good news is, you really don't need a massive budget. Let's break down these influencer tiers. Up at the top, you've got your mega and macro influencers. They're great for broad awareness, sure, but they're incredibly expensive. Where independent restaurants actually win is down at the micro and nano levels. We're talking about creators with these highly engaged, tight-knit local communities who trust their word just as much as a close friend's recommendation. And what's super fascinating here is that the line between creator and restaurateur is really starting to blur. From our sources, we learned about content creators, like the team behind the biryani concept featured on Yacht Money, who are successfully crossing over into restaurant ownership themselves, simply because they understand this audience-first dynamic so remarkably well.
And if you still need proof that bigger isn't always better, the data reveals this highly counterintuitive point. Micro-influencers actually yield an average engagement rate of around 4.5%. That means they're sometimes generating up to 60% more engagement on comparable content than macro-influencers who are sitting way down at a mere 1.5%. Smaller creators are out there having genuine two-way conversations with their followers. And for a local restaurant, that hyper-local trust translates directly into real foot traffic.
So the million-dollar question is, how do you actually partner with these highly engaged creators when you're on a budget? Surprisingly, 47% of micro-influencers will collaborate simply in exchange for free products. You can offer them exclusive tasting experiences, maybe curate some really unique product bundles, grant them early access to new menus before the general public even sees them, or send over VIP event invitations. It's all about making it a mutually beneficial relationship. Give them an amazing, highly photogenic, and memorable experience, and they'll naturally give you the authentic storytelling your brand desperately needs to grow.
All right, moving into Section 5, the consistency system.
Okay, so let's say your marketing is working beautifully. The influencers are posting, the crowds are pouring in. Now we've got to pivot to back-of-house operations. Because getting people in the door, that's really only half the battle. Your systems have to keep them coming back. There's this quote, "Quality is a moment, consistency is a system." I mean, let's just give that profound insight a beat to truly sink in.
Seriously, a customer who has an amazing biryani on a Tuesday absolutely expects that exact same amazing biryani on Friday. If it's different, they usually won't even complain, they just won't come back. Consistency requires a rock-solid system. It means taking literally all the guesswork out of the kitchen. And you achieve this through rigidly standardized recipes, using mandatory portion tools like digital scales and scoops, and implementing a strict 3-point taste check during prep, plating, and right before dispatch. Every single plate has to be a perfect replica of the last one, no exceptions.
And finally, Section 6, skyrocketing customer satisfaction.
So we've got the crowds, we've got the perfectly consistent food. Now let's talk about turning those one-time influencer-driven visitors into lifelong regulars. Look, no matter how good your systems are, mistakes are going to happen. It's just reality. But the difference between a lost customer and a fiercely loyal advocate is exactly how your waitstaff handles that mistake. You've got to train your team in the last method. Listen to the customer without interrupting. Apologize sincerely without making excuses. Solve the issue immediately, and thank them for bringing it to your attention. Honestly, a complaint that's handled brilliantly often builds more loyalty than a meal where absolutely nothing went wrong.
Beyond just handling complaints, here are some rapid-fire, really low-cost retention tactics you can literally implement tomorrow. Run 15-minute daily pre-shift briefings so your staff is always aligned and super energized before the doors open. Keep a notebook to recognize and reward your top 50 regulars. Greet them by name. Memorize their favorite table. Make sure your feedback collection results in actual visible changes, like if customers ask for a new dish and you add it, put a little note on the table saying, "You asked, we added." And finally, don't ignore the small details. Switching to sturdy, eco-friendly compostable containers is a great sustainability story, sure, but it also directly prevents soggy food, which is going to instantly boost those Swiggy and Zomato scores.
The modern culinary landscape is shifting so rapidly, from how we launch to how we market, right down to how we retain our guests. We've covered the whole playbook today. But here's the harsh reality. Your competitors are already noticing these trends. They're out there right now partnering with micro-creators, they're standardizing their kitchens, and they're treating customer feedback like absolute gold. So the question I want to leave you with today is pretty simple. Will you join them, or are you going to let them take your seat at the table? Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer, and I'll catch you next time.